So this time last year, Doctor Who unveiled its new companion, Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, on Children in Need, the annual telethon in the UK that Doctor Who has been connected with over the years on multiple occasions, in multiple different ways. We've had little teasers for the upcoming Christmas specials, and we've had Christmas specials, we've had minisodes like Time Crash, all sorts of little bits and pieces, sketches, that companion reveal last year, and now this year another new minisode was promised to us, featuring none other than David Tennant as the 14th Doctor. A brand new scene featuring him, written by Rusty Davis, with music by Murray Gold, etc. It was teased at the beginning of the week. We found out that we would be going to Skaro as part of this minisode, and some photos were released. One of David as the Doctor, alongside a Dalek casing with the TARDIS behind him. Another one of a brand new character, played by the actor and comedian Mohan Rizwan, and we knew from that, because of the Skaro connection, because of the Dalek connection, and also because of Mohan's costume, this new character, mysterious new character, with a particular eye motif on his collars, which had appeared in Doctor Who before, we had some idea of what was going on. So basically, if you're a newer fan, you don't know, this insignia, this costume, this motif, was the same costume worn by the Khaleds in the 1975 serial Genesis of the Daleks, which was the kind of the origin story for the Daleks in the classic series with Tom Baker. I mean, it was one of a few origin stories that were floating around. The very first Dalek serial kind of suggests one origin story, and there's some other stuff in like comics and stuff and expanded media, and then Terry Nation, the original writer of the Dalek serial, sort of kind of retconned some of it basically into this story. That's where Davros came into play, the idea of this creator of the Daleks, basically, the fact that the Daleks actually have a creator. And yes, Genesis of the Daleks is an acclaimed serial, consistently kind of appearing in the top sort of 5-10 Doctor Who stories of all time, very, very popular. And all the signs were pointing to this scene being a sort of Genesis of the Daleks, kind of prequel to that story. And now we have that scene. It's been released this evening on the Children in Need telethon for this year, and yes, that is basically exactly what we've got, and then some. So there will be spoilers for this scene in this video. If you haven't watched it yet, check out the video description where I'll leave a link to it, because fortunately for international fans, they have uploaded it to YouTube as well. It's not just a UK exclusive thing. So yes, the scene is there if you haven't seen it yet. But assuming you have, let's talk about this thing in detail. So what we get, first of all, that the very first character we see is not Mohan's new character, Mr. Castavillian, I think he's called, but another character played by the actor Julian Bleach. Now, viewers of a certain age and fans of a certain age that grew up with the Sarah Jane Adventures will probably think, first of all, upon seeing this, oh, that's the Nightmare Man from the Series 4 opener to the Sarah Jane Adventures. Julian Bleach played the Nightmare Man in that story. But that's not the character he's playing here, nor is it the character he played in Torchwood in the story from Out of the Rain in Series 2. No, this is Julian Bleach's original Doctor Who character, but as you've never seen him before. He is, of course, playing Davros, as he played him in The Stolen Earth, Journey's End, and The Magician's Apprentice. And yes, this is the actor beneath the mask, the guy that played Davros all along in the prosthetics and the chair and everything, but seen now for the first time, basically sort of in the Doctor Who canon, apart from like Baby Davros, the child Davros in Series 9. But to all intents and purposes, yes, the first time we've seen Davros before all those mutations and before all that stuff, as an actual, well, not a human, but a humanoid, as a Khaled. That is such an inspired choice. I mean, first of all, it's great to see Davros back again in any form. As I say, we've only seen him twice in the new series, played by Julian Bleach on both occasions. I always thought it was a shame that he didn't appear in the Jodie era, in the Chibnall era at all. You know, I think that would have been a nice way to kind of round off the Dalek trilogy, and maybe that was the plan before COVID came along and messed everything up. Maybe that was on the cards, but no, you know, fantastic to see Julian Bleach back. He is a brilliant Davros actor. Both times we've seen him before, he's completely embodied the character, and you know, he is the new series Davros. It's great to have him back. Would love to see him as the more conventional Davros, you know, again in the future. But what we see here is a very different Davros. Like I say, the humanoid Davros before he became the Davros that we know, and that is great as well, because Julian Bleach is a fantastic actor. All his other characters in Doctor Who, like the Nightmare Man, were exceptionally creepy, and so to have him here, you know, he just oozes the creepiness. He does a really, really great job with this. It's lovely to see him, a lovely, lovely surprise to have him back. But of course, Davros never actually appears alongside the 14th Doctor in this minisode, so to avoid kind of, paradoxes and stuff, I'm guessing. Instead, we kind of have him bookending this scene, and then in the middle, the Doctor shows up. There was a lovely, lovely shot of the TARDIS kind of crashing into this ship, whatever it is, this laboratory on Skaro, literally just kind of zooming across the screen in like a split second and crashing into the wall. It was a really nice new way of doing like a kind of materialization slash TARDIS crashing effect. If that is anything to go off, then there are going to be some fantastic kind of visual things with the TARDIS in the new episodes. But yes, the rest of this minisode is sort of more like a sketch where, yes, it is a kind of thing that, we can choose to now sort of have as part of the Doctor Who canon, and I suppose there'll be certain people kind of kicking up a fuss about this. But yes, basically it is a prequel to Genesis of the Daleks, where we have this prototype Dalek here, and when we first see it, it looks very different. It has the gun arm that we're used to, interestingly referred to as a ruby ray or something, I think, and I immediately heard that and I thought, is this a connection here to Ruby Sunday? Is something else going on? I'm not sure the word ruby has been used to refer to the Dalek gunstick before, but maybe it has. If you know more about that than I do, then let me know in the comments. But the other appendage on this Dalek is a claw, not unlike the ones we've seen in the most recent episodes of the Chibnall era, stuff like the Recon Dalek in Resolution, the Death Squad Daleks, the Daleks in Eve of the Daleks as well, the Executioners, all those Daleks had a claw instead of a plunger. The plunger did come back for the power of the Doctor, but it was kind of absent for a number of years kind of before that, basically. And in a similar vein here, what we have is this prototype Dalek with a claw arm rather than a plunger, and then because of the TARDIS crashing into this space, this arm gets knocked off, it gets broken, and the Doctor replaces it with a plunger, thereby having a hand, quite literally, in the creation of his worst enemy. And there's a very, very fun bit as well, a kind of running gag where this side character, Mr. Castervillan, the assistant to Davros, is kind of going, oh, what should we call this creation? What should we call, this new thing? Some kind of anagram of our own name, of our own species. Card, should we have like Edlac or Ledek or whatever, all these different variations, different anagrams of Khaled. And then of course the Doctor shows up and immediately goes, well, that's a Dalek. And this guy goes, Dalek, Eureka, that is it, that's the one. A really, really fun way of kind of treading the line here between having a minisode that we can kind of enjoy and consider it as canon and everything, but also having a bit of humour there as well, because this is Children in Need. It is sort of like a bit of a sketch as well, like with something like Time Crash, where it kind of does both those things. It's both a minisode and a sketch. It works for both audiences and works in both regards. So that was really nice. I think overall that is what this little scene did. I don't know whether it has a name. I think Russell said on Instagram something about maybe Destination Skaro, but I don't know whether that's official or not. But yeah, for the purposes of this video, let's just call it the scene, the minisode, or whatever it was. Children in Need 2023. Overall, I think it worked really, really nicely. It really kind of struck a balance between those two things, and it kind of fits into the broader canon of Doctor Who, both in terms of giving us a Genesis story for Genesis of the Daleks, a prequel to that much-loved story. It works as an anniversary thing because the Daleks were there in the second ever Doctor Who story, so it's going right back to the beginning of Doctor Who and right back to the beginning of the Doctor's deadliest foes. It's lovely to see a bit more of the 14th Doctor as well. Obviously when David Tennant first became the Doctor, there was the minisode Born Again for Children in Need. That, came before his first full episode. It kind of bridged the gap between the regeneration scene and the Christmas invasion. So lovely to have that happening here again, and kind of fitting into the continuity that's been established as well, because over the past year or so we've had this Doctor Who magazine comic strip Liberation of the Daleks, where the 14th Doctor has fought the Daleks. That picked up, after Power of the Doctor, and that finished off with him sort of saying something like, oh, I hope the TARDIS isn't taking me back to Skaro, wink wink. So that's all nice and fun as well. And obviously now we've had that comic, we've had this minisode, and now the next bit is the actual start, proper start of the 14th Doctor's journey and the 14th Doctor's era, with the Star Beast in just over a week's time. It's really, really crept up on us. Fantastic. So really looking forward to that. Yes, a week away until the first of the 60th specials. We are so close, and it's lovely to have this to whet the appetite a week beforehand. What did you think of this Children in Need Doctor Who scene for 2023? What did you think of the whole thing of having Julian Bleach playing Davros as we've never seen him before? What do you think of the 14th Doctor in this scene and all the running gags about the Daleks and the plunger and the name for the Daleks as well, and anything else? You know, let me know all of your thoughts on all of this and more down in the comments. I would love to hear what you've got to say about this little scene. If you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new for more stuff like this in the future. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.